Hello everyone, it's another exciting episode of Connect with Eleanor. Obviously, my two antennas are here with me. I hope you guys love them. On this episode of Connect with Eleanor, we're talking about the power of words. Words are very powerful. Words can shape a man's life in different ways. Words can lift people, and words can hurt people. Words can give people depression. Words can do so many things. In fact, everything you see in this world was created by words. Using the Bible as a reference, God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. That is the power of words. Words can create atmospheres, words can empower people, words can bring beautiful things in this world, and words can bring destructive things in this world. It can give you a very creative imagination, and you can use those things that you imagine in your mind to actually bring it to reality. Why words can actually destroy the destiny of people. So that is how powerful words are. When I see people just talk to people anyhow, when I see people talk to their family, their friends anyhow, because of familiarity, you feel like there's nothing wrong with what I said. I was just joking. Especially that word, "I was just joking." You don't just joke with words because you don't know what that person is passing through at that particular time. So that is how important words are. So today's episode of Connect with Eleanor, the first segment is that we're talking about the power of words. Words can be inspiring and motivating. I've heard so many words that inspired me that I told myself I can do it. Words can help you to take action. They will give you that energy to stand up and say, "Yes, I can do it." Words can motivate us to pursue our goals. Words can motivate us to be inspired to, do so many crazy things that later lead to, innovations. Words can uplift us when we are in challenging times. That is how powerful words are. And another thing is that words can be hurtful and demotivating. I've seen the power of words around me. People that have low self-esteem, they feel so small. It's because of the word that has been spoken to them for a long time. "Who are you? You are nothing. You better just keep quiet. Nobody knows you." Those kind of words. You have to be careful when speaking to people, regardless of how close you are to that person. Don't let familiarity make you use your words to destroy another person's life. So words can affect our self-esteem, our confidence. Words has impact on relationships. Words can impact our relationship in a very dramatic way. There's some people that they build a very strong relationship with their spouse based on good words, positive affirmations, and what can damage relationships. Use of words, especially. I don't know. Many of us, we don't take our time to learn. Whether it is English, Yoruba, Igbo, several languages in the world. You have to be intentional when it comes to use of words. A single omission of a particular statement or a particular word can just dramatically change the whole scenario. And even your tone when you're speaking, people have already interpreted it to something else. So there's a way you can say "stand up," and there's a way you can say "stand up." The rising and the falling tone of your voice, the way your voice, your pronunciation and everything, it matters a lot. So another thing that I would say is that words have impact on your self-perception, how you see yourself, how you see others. So it is very important, as people that are new caregivers, old caregivers, you have to be intentional with the words you speak to your children. Even when they come to you and be like, "Okay, I don't know if I can do this, I don't know if I can do that," try to encourage them, try to motivate them. It is very important. So example of powerful words is that you can do it. You are the sign and wonder that the world is waiting for. There is nothing you lay your hands upon that cannot prosper. Because of a Christian that I am, I practically eat out of the motivational quotes that were made by great men in the Bible, because I use them as a form of guard and stronghold to protect myself from negative words. So you are enough, you can do it, you are powerful enough to change your own world. Those words are actually very powerful. Every word is a certain level of energy. So those energy, they're the ones that transfer from the person that said it to the person that is receiving it, which is the recipient. So then they do what they are told. So if they are told to motivate you, those words will come as energy that will lift you up to do something productive. And if they are told to discourage you, I mean, you will practically see how that person will be so down after those words. So, based on my personal experience, there was a particular stage in my life like that. And, every time I go out, people just make sarcastic comments about my stature. Oh my God, you're too slim, you're too this, you're too that. And I'm like, it got to a point I started feeling like, am I like, I'm not the one that created myself, for Christ's sake. I mean, must everybody be fat? I'm sorry, apologies to people that are fat or whatever. I'm somebody that I don't like insulting people based on their stature. I mean, I felt like an alien, even among my own people, because they made me feel like I was, I don't know, maybe there was some kind of default in the way God created me for being slim. It's not supposed to be so. After those experiences, I'll go back to my mom and tell her that, Mom, this person said that, this person said. The mom will be like, it's because they've not seen somebody as beautiful as you. It's because you look different. It's because you look unique. There's a way my mom will say those motivating words those words that they just said, it will just counter it, and I'll tell myself that I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. I mean, I am one of a kind. So you cannot see a species like me in this world. You're just deceiving yourself. There's a way those words that my mom said will actually cancel those negative words. So you have to be intentional when it comes to speaking words to people. I hope you guys don't mind my pillow. Today is gonna be Eleanor pillow pillow talk. Tips in using words effectively. You have to speak kindly and positively. I mean, regardless of what I see so many people that they just talk to people anyhow. And you're telling yourself that what is your excuse for speaking to people anyhow? You be like, because they spoke to me anyhow. Or you say because of what you are going through. What you're going through should not determine what comes out of your mouth. Please learn to speak to people kindly and positively. Practice active listening. Pay attention when people are speaking before you reply, before you open your mouth. Look at their body language. I mean, do you feel like this person, there are so many things involved when it comes to communication. That's why you don't just see me speak anyhow. I try to study the person. I try to study the scenario, right environment to say this particular words. Is this something I can say in private? So those are the things you need to watch out for when you're speaking words. Another thing is that you have to choose words carefully. Your tone matters. The way you speak it matters. I mean, people interpret so many things when it comes to words. I wish we can just search more on all this. Because tone matters. You might be saying the right thing, but the tone you're using, your mannerism, you're making a person feel like a fool. You understand? Even if you're saying the right thing. So those are the things you need to watch out for when you're speaking words to people. You shouldn't use your words to hurt another person, because you yourself know the power of words. You know how much words has damaged you. So you shouldn't project such on individuals. Now, what are the strategies that people use to harness the power of words? Some people write journals, letters, they use it to express themselves. For someone like me, I have so many books that I'm still working on that are on the way. So, by working on Connect with Eleanor, I've learned how to use my words rightly. People do public speaking, storytelling to communicate, motivational speakers, preachers, positive affirmations. There are so many ways that you can harness this power of words and use it to impact your world. Use it to motivate people. Don't use it to bring people down. I mean, I've seen words bring down kingdoms. Intentional when it comes to the power of our words. So another thing that I would say is that segment 3 is how to overcome negative word patterns. We're going to be discussing how you can overcome this cancer that has been in the society, people speaking negatively to each other. The first negative word pattern is criticism. Some people are so good at criticizing others, damaging their self-esteem because you want to prove a point. You understand? Rather than taking your time before you speak, there is a way you can correct somebody without damaging their self-esteem, without making them feel like they're a fool, without making them feel like they are nothing. Another thing that I would say is that gossip. I mean, this one is common among ladies, even though guys do it as well. I cannot say to your face. I don't say it behind your back. I don't know why. That's just me. If you hear me saying something and this person, can you say it in front of the person? Of course I can say it in front of the person. You gossiping behind somebody's back, as much as people love the taste of gossip, obviously it's not right. You're obviously damaging that person's identity. Please, let's just find a way to reduce this gossip thing. Now, I'm not saying that I'm a saint when it comes to that. I've also spoken behind people's back, and people have also spoken behind my back. Tit for tat, but It's not right. Please let us work on how to curb this stigma of gossip. Another thing is that try and stay away from the environment of negative. There are some people that their friends just to them anyhow. Like they say negative words, and you yourself you just keep quiet because I want to be among the gang, because I don't want them to say that I'm being too spiritual. I'm taking it too serious. My dear, take it serious. There is power in words. Take it serious. Let me give you guys a quick story. There was a particular story my mom told me about one of their classmates like that. People kept saying that he was a madman. They were saying it like it was a joke, and this guy was always laughing, laughing about it. Now, fast forward to years later. I mean, my mom later found out that that guy later ran mad. Imagine, assuming he knew the power of words. I mean, immediately they started calling me a mad person that time. He would have just laughed, and just like they're just talking, it's just a joke. He would have actually, said, please, you should not send back to sender or Holy Ghost fire, whatever means you can use to send the word back, you send it back and not receive it. But he received those words, and those words shaped his atmosphere. They practically changed the direction and the projection his life was, you know, going towards. So when it comes to this, you have to have strategies for overcoming all this negative. You have to be mindful. You have to reframe those words. You have to tell yourself that whatever anybody is saying about me that is negative, that is not my portion. That is not who I am. If you look at the Bible, you see so many things that we are called. We are called the light of the world, a city set upon a hill that can never be hidden. So those are the practical, positive affirmations that you say to yourself. Anytime you see people tell you you cannot do it, you are this, you are that. People will always have negative things to say about you. So you have to be intentional. Anytime people tell you are too fat, your mates are having figure eight, your stomach is big, tell them to go and create. If they know that they can create human beings, let them go and create. That's just it. You are fearfully and wonderfully made, regardless of how you look, regardless of your status, regardless of so many things that we use to judge people in the world today. If you want to maintain this atmosphere, please surround yourself with positive influences, people that will not say negative things to you. Please, saying negative things to someone is not a joke. Please stop saying that I was just joking. You were not joking. You understand? When you're joking, you have to be intentional with your joke as well. People just say things carelessly and destroy the lives of others. There's so many people that they said negative words to them and they went to drink dangerous chemicals out of the fact that their state of mind was already weakened when those words entered them. People didn't have any defense mechanism or anything like that to guard them from those words, and those words transpired as energies, and they affected them in so many ways. So you have to be intentional when it comes to words that you speak to people. Please, you understand? So when people speak words to you, have your own back to sender, Holy Ghost fire, whatever to send it back before that energy reaches you and changes something in your life. So another thing I would say is that as individuals, we have to take responsibility for our words. Please work on your communication skills. Don't just talk to people anyhow. Don't entertain negative talks around you, especially among your friends and family. Do not stand for it, regardless of how close you are to that person, regardless of whatever point the person is trying to make. You have to be intentional when it comes to the words that you receive. You understand? So another thing that I'll say is that be mindful of how you speak to others. Be mindful about how others speak to you. You don't know what that person is going through. You don't know their state of mind. So try as much as possible to always speak encouraging words. Even if that person actually acted acted in a senseless way, even though that's the wrong choice of words, but even though that person did not act with wisdom. Can you see another use of words? Senseless. Act with wisdom. They are practically saying the same thing, but one is well packaged, another one is just bare. So find a way to correct somebody with love. It's not every correction that you must bring somebody that make them feel less of themselves. Believe me sincerely, it took me a very long time to overcome this negative self-talk, because people just practically see you and they just have to point one negative thing about you. You understand? So please, let's be intentional when it comes to our use of words. Words are powerful. They can change a man's destiny. They can lead a man into great places, and they can bring a man down. So that's all for today's episode of Connect with Elero. I hope you can pick so many things from this episode and actually use it. Please, let's be intentional. Let's be mindful of the way we speak to others. So I love you guys so much. I celebrate you. I will see you in another episode of Connect with Eleanor. I hope you use your words wisely this week. I hope you speak to others in a kind way. In case you have any personal experiences you want to share with us when it comes to use of words, kindly go to the comment section and just tell us that story of how somebody motivated you and how somebody hurt you and how it took you a long time to overcome it. So I love you guys so much. Please kindly subscribe, share to your loved ones. Let them be part of the Connect with Eleanor family. And believe you me sincerely, their life will not remain the same again. So I love you guys so much. I celebrate you. Bye.